Hey, happy Friday to you. It is January 22nd and time for this week's Friday Funnies. Now let me start off by saying I am not sure of all of the signs of the apocalypse, but I think Ted Kennedy's vacant Senate seat going to a Republican is one of them. At least that's what the White House is thinking. And speaking of the White House, remember the Salahis, also known as the White House Party Crashers? Well, they were interviewed this week by Homeland Security, and they invoked the Fifth Amendment 33 times. They didn't answer any questions. This is the legal equivalent of Sergeant Schultz on Hogan's Heroes. Every time they were asked a question, it was like, I know nothing, I see nothing. Little celebrity impression there for you. Very, very little. Also, Tiger Woods, remember him? Well, this week he checked himself into a rehab clinic in Mississippi to cure his sex addiction. Mississippi? I mean, what do they specialize down there in stopping you from having sex with your cousin? I really don't know, folks. It's a three-ring circus in the news this week, but I've looked beyond the big headlines to find the real stories that matter in this week's Friday Funnies. Let's start off with our first one that we like to call, How Do You Define Rockin' Out? Up in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, which is, I believe, where cheese fondue was first invented. Fond du Lac, it all falls together. I'm not positive, but look it up on Wikipedia. Anyhow, they look at life a little differently up there than most people. They look at life a little differently up there from most people in Wisconsin. The police up in Fond du Lac were responding to a loud noise complaint at an apartment, and when they approached the apartment, they heard loud John Denver music blaring through the door. So they pounded on the door repeatedly. Eventually, a 42-year-old man danced his way over and opened the door, and the police said, "Hey, why is the music so loud?" To which he responded, "I'm just rocking out to John Denver." The police issued him a ticket for loud noise, but if you ask me, anybody openly caught rocking out to Take Me Home Country Roads should be watched very carefully, even in Wisconsin. All right, here's our next story. When guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have squirt guns. Let's go up to Portland, Maine, where Harding Smith is a restaurant owner up there, and he is the target of a lawsuit claiming that he violated federal and state wage and hour rules in his place of business. So when he saw protesters outside of his restaurant, you can understand he got a little irritated, and he dispersed them by dousing them with fox urine.
Ew, gross.
That's right, he put fox urine into a squirt gun type device and squirted it at the crowd to get them to go away. And it worked, but now he is facing assault charges. If you ask me, however, a squirt gun full of fox urine is pretty much the perfect self-defense weapon. It's cheap, it's portable, and it's effective. The only drawback, of course, is being able to hold the fox steady over the little hole so he can pee in it, but you got to figure that out, I guess. Next story. Caveat emptor, or let the buyer beware. You know, up until this week, I have always considered those people who call the police to report the theft of their illegal drugs to be among the stupidest people in the universe. But the bar has been raised this week up in Marlborough, New Hampshire, where a man called police to report that he paid for sex, but he didn't get any. The unknown man, whom we're just going to call for the purpose of this story Dick, said that he paid $150 to a woman to have sex with him. But the woman took his money and didn't do anything. She just left poor old Dick high and dry, as it were. So the police investigated. What turns out, both Dick and the woman are now both under arrest for prostitution charges. So in the end, they both got screwed, but neither one of them in a very good way. Our final story, let's go back to Rockin' Out, shall we? This time in Virginia. And no music was involved in Dr. Frank Ciampi's office because the Rockin' Out here involved an actual rock. A meteorite fell through the roof of Dr. Ciampi's office, crashed through the ceiling, landed near the coffee machine. Nobody, thank goodness, was injured. But imagine, if you will, that you happen to be at this particular doctor's office on this particular day at this particular time having your annual prostate exam. And the doctor's in mid-exam when all of a sudden a loud noise and a rock from outer space crashes through the ceiling and lands at his feet. I imagine the doctor might be a little startled. This didn't happen, of course, but it could, and when it does, another sign of the apocalypse. Hey, that's all I have for you this week. Let me just close out by saying thank goodness American Idol is back on the air, because it gives me that hour every day to do more reading. I'll see you next week.